Well, you know what I wish I would have said in the video that I made about progressive metal. I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Somebody said it in the comments. You know, it happens all the time where they like more succinctly deliver my premise. You know, I'm like, God damn it! I wish I would have said that. That progressive has become a synonym for technical in metal.
Yes.
Which I think is really the argument I was trying to make.
And I would say for 90% or maybe even more percent of cases, I fully agree. I fully fucking agree. The only place I can think of offhand where it's not necessarily the case is like Gojira. But is Gojira even like full on progressive?
I don't think they're especially progressive. I mean, I think they're a cool band and everything, but you know, and they're great players, but there's not a lot of, to me, there isn't really a lot there that's progressive.
Yeah. I mean, if sits on a line for me because there's like areas where they kind of like touch into the Tool thing, but
Right.
it's not that pronounced, you know.
But is it progressive to sound like Tool, you know, 10, 15, 20 years after Tool? That's sort of my point.
If you put a twist on it, maybe. But yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. But yeah, freaking as far as a synonym for technical, yeah, that's extremely irritating.
Which, by the way, is fine if you want to play technical metal. Like, I don't like that's not a bad thing. I just don't think it's progressive.
I think it can be, but I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, okay,
right.
It's not necessarily the case. I totally
not inherently progressive to play technical music.
So one dude who I think is a great example of the opposite of this is, you familiar with any of Steven Wilson's stuff?
The Porcupine Tree guy?
Yeah.
At a very basic level. I've heard it, but I don't know much about it.
Okay. I mean, Porcupine Tree touches on metal now and then, but I guess you'd lump them more in progressive rock. But their stuff is not especially technical. It's about making moods, and you know, it draws a lot from classic prog, but in my opinion, I'd say they established their own unique voice for that time period, and I think that could qualify. But I mean, again, that's, you know, even the guys that Steven Wilson influenced are still playing the same fucking dad prog shit that is just so cringe inducing.
Is it like Yes type stuff?
That's that. There's hints of Yes, hints of Genesis, and then some Pink Floyd in there.
So dad prog, yeah, I get it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it feels more modern compared to all of those influences for sure. Like it's not like listening to like a Neil Morse project thing. I don't know how familiar you are with any of that, but yeah, like it's not totally dorky. It's very depressed, but it's not
mostly dorky, but not terribly dorky.
Yes. There's a little dorky.
The progressive stuff that I like is more like from the fusion side of things than the rock side of things.
Like which specifically?
Oh, like, you know, Chick Corea, or I really like the Jack DeJohnette's solo stuff, like that kind of thing.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that stuff's a lot of fun. So what do you
or Cecil Taylor?
What do you specifically like about that over the other prog stuff?
I really can't say. It's true for like also progressive metal. Like I do not like any of the progressive metal that just sounds like metal, like Necrophagist, for example. I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, certainly I recognize that it's good, but I love like Cynic and some of the Faceless stuff, the stuff that has a little bit. I just don't know enough. My musical vocabulary from like a theory perspective isn't good enough to tell you like if there are specific modes or scales or something like that that sound good to my ear, that they use, that the more straightforward metal stuff doesn't. I don't know. But anything that sort of is borrowing from jazz tends to sound better to me than stuff that doesn't.
Hell yeah. Okay. That is one thing where like the early prog dudes injected some of that, but didn't go too heavy. Like they used some of the chords and a little bit of the theory, but I don't know, it didn't have like the juice and the sexiness. That's one of the things where I feel like prog fails so often. Not nearly enough sexy.
Yeah.
You know, the danger comes from like oh, like, how is he gonna mess up a note? I mean, even if he did, how the fuck you gonna know?
Right. I messed it up on purpose.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, exactly. It's progressive.
I would say like one specific thing I can point out is the rhythm section. You know, like the bassists. You know, like Sean Malone from Cynic and like Steve DiGiorgio, for example, both have that kind of like more smooth legato type of phrasing and just sort of more of a draw from more of a jazz type, a Jocko type sound, and the drummers as well. You know, so the rhythm section to me is a big difference.
That actually makes a lot of sense, especially if you're talking like a more jazz infused instead of hard rock based type of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally understand that. I started with Metallica, so I mean my drum and bass frame of reference was very limited.
So you mean drum?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom actually was into a lot of that stuff, like Gentle Giant and stuff like that when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So like,
really?
Gentle Giant and Chick Corea, like I was listening to that stuff when I was like 4. So I guess it stuck with me.
Hell yeah. I've tried Gentle Giant. I don't know, man.
I wouldn't listen to it now necessarily. But I can appreciate, I mean, it was cool. That was like the 60s.
Yes.
You know, so that was like really and Return to Forever. I still like Return to Forever.
They were definitely ahead of the time. And I mean, if you're really into the English folklore type of thing, it fits that aesthetic super well. But
yeah, I remember they had some album with like a knight on the cover or something that I thought was really cool.
Let's look it
like
up.
A guy on a horse or something like that.
It's fucking Gentle Giant. That's what it. Wait,
yeah.
No, Gentle.
My mom used to call him Genital Giant.
You said with a knight on the cover?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I remember. But you know, again, this is like many decades ago, so I could be mistaken.
Is that The Power and the Glory?
Let me look.
It's got like the King of Spades on it.
That sounds right. Let me look. Gentle Giant, Power, and the Glory. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yes, that's the one.
Word.
Yep, I remember that one.